you know?
I'm not going to trivialize something as complex as interhuman relationships by assigning a value to it. It's so stupid.
I'm not gonna force a man to rate his marriage.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Oh yes. Talking to you guys about Married at First Sight. We're going to talk to you guys about Olivia and Brett. Yes, we're going to talk about the situation here between the two of them. Guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, you share, and you subscribe, okay? Make sure you do me that favor. Like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, then click on that bell button for notification of the uploads, baby, because we appreciate you. And don't forget, join the mineral gang. Mineral gang. You understand? You got the minerals, you got the minerals, yes. Okay, that ended. I'm gonna do it again. You got the minerals, yes. You got the minerals. Alright, listen, cool. Listen to Olivia and Brett. So, obviously, Olivia and Brett, interesting couple. I think because of Brett's sarcasm. I mean, not everybody gets it. Not everybody likes it. Not everybody rocks with it. Not everybody can get it. And we saw that when Olivia, Brett, and Amani and Woody were sitting in a room. And they were obviously talking, catching jokes. And he made a few jokes here, which I caught were sarcasm. I'm not a really big fan of sarcasm. I don't really like it. I think it's a cheap type of comedy, but that's my opinion, and I don't think my opinion is universal. I don't think my opinion matters much anyway in this instance. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of sarcasm because I always feel like it's got a hint of cynicism behind it, and a bit of sinister. It's a bit sinister as well behind it as well. But you know, his sarcasm obviously was shown to the rest of the group. I guess to Amani and Woody, and I could tell by Amani's face that she was like, "What? Like, oh, like." You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not sure to take that literally, or do I take it seriously? Do I not take it seriously? What's my play here?
Yeah, and kind of like wondering, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. Am I going to go to your house and how many, like, stuffed animals are going to be made out of people's skin or something?
So that's the very first thing I want to kind of point out. I think what was interesting is obviously there was some hot points of debate. I think obviously there's gonna be a need for a lot of conversation between Olivia and Brett. Here's my thing. So he mentioned something about obviously he doesn't expect it to be smooth sailing all the way, and it was interesting that obviously when he said he didn't expect it to be smooth sailing, that Amani really agreed.
I was prepared for like just smooth sailing all the way. That's why I'm like off guard.
And obviously because the conversation that she already had with Woody. Now I've been picking up more on it because I've zoomed in on it. I'm focused on it. But what I saw obviously was the fact that the fact that Amani was agreed. It looked like she really was intentful with her agreement in that instance of what he said about not that expecting obviously some troubles down the line. Why? Because they both are, I wouldn't say insecure, I don't like to use the word insecure for them, but they both have some level of pain that they've experienced. They both have gone through some heartache, and some cheating. I should say, in a sense, cheating or betrayal, whichever you call it. They've been stabbed in the back before, and I think that fact that obviously not expecting a smooth sailing in the relationship, and the fact that obviously Woody also agreed as well, but that Woody and Olivia haven't really gone through that hardship in that regard. Woody had done the cheating, but hasn't been cheating on this. Him and his missus both cheat on each other, so I guess he has experienced some of it. But in terms of smooth sailing, obviously, I think that Amani and Brett had a very similar outlook on the situation. So I saw that little bit of agreement between the two of them, and I was like, okay, cool. What I love again is that Amani was really looking out for Olivia, wanted to have that conversation, inviting him out. I think Olivia's an undercover, outgoing person. I never saw it coming, I'm not gonna lie to you. But she's a really undercover, outgoing person. And we'll discuss that a little bit later on, but I was so surprised. So she's got that little thing, that little bit of hint of, a bit of an extrovert in her that I never saw. I mean, I saw her as a quiet church mouse, but she's got some extroverted, sides to her that she likes to interact, likes to be around.
Has already a very active and full life. Between her work and her friends and all of her commitments, it doesn't seem like she's got...
Likes to have conversation, likes to enjoy the finer things of life as well. And I say that with no remorse. And then obviously, there was a conversation where herself and him were having, and she said something which was really interesting. Obviously, she was like, oh, you know, I like to do things, blah, blah, but I get bored easy, blah, blah. And his comment, I think it showed, I don't know, the way, maybe I'm highlighting it too much, but when he said, obviously, you know, I hope you're not going to get like too bored of me kind of thing. And the way he said it, it sounded as if he was again, bearing in mind that we know from last week, and I kind of clocked it from early, when you're moving mad with different girls, trying to on your hen night, trying to chirp bare different girls, or trying to move to many different girls, that shows me, and the fact that you're dating up until the point of being chosen, that just shows me that your heart, not that it's not in the right place, but your heart is still guarded. Yeah, you're playing these games because you want to make your ego feel good, right? Because you're scared that your heart can get broken. So the fact is, when he said, obviously, well, I hope you're not going to get like, you know, bored of me, kind of joking, jokingly kind of, I thought to myself, is he joking or is he really feeling the heat? When she made that comment, did it trigger something in him?
I'm a social person.
I just want to make sure that we put the proper amount of time into maintaining us.
Because I can understand, it's normal. Like, when you hear that, your natural inclination might be to go, I wonder if you get bored of me. Because when you've been cheated on, betrayed, hurt, lied to, okay, like Amani and him have been, you know, you start to look for clues as to how not to get hurt again. You start to look for patterns of speech that remind you of a certain behavior. What your heart, your mind, and your perception is doing is trying to spot the cheater. What your mind and your heart are doing are trying to spot, where's Wally? Who's Wally going to try and do me dirty? Because the last time I wasn't aware of where's Wally. Wally did me dirty. When I say Wally, I'm talking about the ex or whatever person, right? That person did me dirty and I didn't see the signs, or I ignored the signs. This time, I'm going to make sure I know the signs, I see the signs, and I obey the signs. But I wonder if he was triggered, and that's what made him kind of answer that question in that way. He may have been joking. You know, we can all joke like that, but I don't know. I felt like there was something kind of truthful behind it as well. And that could be because of the insecurity that he's carrying, which is that he doesn't want to get cheated on again, doesn't want to get hurt again, and therefore, you know, he's kind of asking that question as a probing question.
Bored easily.
Are you getting bored of me? Can change that out?
No.
And then obviously they talked about obviously their finances. Now she asked about finances, and what was interesting was the way that he said, well, you go first, right? And that you go first is the same kind of energy that he did later on when he says, I'm not answering that question because it's dehumanizing. It's the same kind of question, it's the same kind of answer he had on the boat when they were asking him about their relationship. So we're going to keep our details secret. I don't think he's that secretive. I think he's a person who's experiencing pain and is trying to keep things low key and low wraps. You know, when you've been hurt again, I'll say it again, when you've been hurt, you're broken, your lens, the way you look at life, the way you change your narrative, you want to do things differently to how you are. Because the reason why I say it's interesting is because it wasn't long ago, bro, your extroverted side of you was coming out doing chirps and moving to all different types of girls. So how is it all of a sudden your relationship though, when you're dealing with it, nah, my relationship is off limits to you guys. No, I don't talk about relationship. I keep it quiet, keep it low key. And I think he's scared of judgment. I think he's scared of someone saying something about the relationship. I think he's scared of people commenting about him and his performance in a relationship. And we know that partly because he gets annoyed and hurt by the fact that she levels the relationship as a 7, which I think was really good. I mean, a 7 is solid. Like, if someone said to me, after 6 days, I'm a 7, I'd say, wow, you know, like, fam, like...
I'd say like a 7. Okay.
I know there's areas to improve on, so yeah, why not? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not expecting a high score like that when I don't really know you too tough. But obviously, his reasoning was that he's put 100% into a relationship. And that's interesting. I think the fear here is gripping him. So I put 100% in a relationship, and all I'm getting is a 7. Now, that's not the problem. The problem is this. I'm putting 100% into a relationship, and I only got a 7. What won't stop you from going out and cheating again? Or cheating, I should say, right? Because obviously last relationship you got cheated on. And let's say, and you have to understand this as well, you can do everything right and still get cheated on. Cheating can be a lot of times unprovoked. It's got nothing to do with you and to do with them. Yeah, it's all about their desires and their power. And so sometimes you can think to yourself, what could I have done better to stop that? Like, for instance, when I got cheated on, and I call it cheating, the person might not, I call it cheating, because you're down here duking another person, yeah? I asked myself at the end of the day, I said, what could I have done? What differently could I have done? What could have changed? What could I have said to make the person not think that way, right? And the truth of the matter is nothing. Because irrespective of what anyone says and says these are reasons why people may cheat, at the end of the day, you decided to. Like, unless you're in an absolute dire relationship, unless the relationship was so bad, and even then, people are faithful. Like, but the truth of the matter is, I mean, most people that do these things are in stable relationships. They didn't cheat because they're unhappy. They cheated because they felt like they could. They cheated because they're opportunists. They cheated because, okay, yes, maybe they might not be happy, but it's something that could have been spoken about, but they never spoke about it, and they did it. Do you feel me? So when I'm hearing Brett speak, I'm hearing somebody who's hurt. So when he's saying, obviously, you know, like, oh, you know, I'm not going to say how much I make. Okay, cool. All right then. All right, you say first. Question was asked to you, bro. Why not answer it?
With your job, how much money do you make?
How much money do you make?
Yeah? So obviously then, you know, he said, obviously, I'll whisper it in your ear. Then he tells her how much, and then she tells him how much. Now, the amount, we don't know. But what we do know is that it's 2 or 2.5 times more, or 3 even times more than what he makes. At this conjuncture, sorry guys. At this conjuncture, I know my audience here is predominantly American females especially. Y'all have a completely different mindset, I believe, when it comes to finances, salary, and relationships.
So are you threatened by the fact that you make like almost 3 times more than me?
First off, I don't make 3 times more.
I really think that the way that we think is completely different, especially in Africa. In Africa as well, they think the exact same way, which is that man should provide for the woman all the way, etc., etc., right? But in UK it's slightly different. We have most people expect to work, earn their own bread, have their own job, make their own money, still come together, but we work together. Like, whereas in America, it's like, if you haven't got a man that doesn't provide for you, he's not a man. And it's really interesting that manhood is different depending on where you are in the sea, where you are, when I say in the sea, where you are in the world. And it's interesting that it changes from America to UK, and I'm sure there's other places like UK as well. But it's just really interesting that the mindset is that. So obviously the fact is the matter, there's a huge gap in their finances. And then when she asked me, is that a problem? He said, no, that's not a problem, that's not a problem. Now, there was a problem. And do you know what's interesting? Because I understand his position. Like, many of you might know, I've just gone through COVID. I lost my job. I lost my stable income. I was making close to $2,000 a month. Good money, and I lost my job, innit? Yeah? Obviously, I'm dating. You guys know I'm not going to say dating. I'm in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, I got with the person months before I lost my job. Then I lost my job. And obviously, person stayed with me. Thank God. We appreciate that. But she makes more than me. But, before I lost my job, before she even knew I lost my job, she said something which was really, really interesting to me. She said, obviously, listen, my money's your money. And your money's my money. She said that, right? And I was laughing, right? But it put me at ease. Why did it put me at ease? Because then I realized, okay, so look, I'm not in the best position right now financially in terms of finance. I mean, I've got mad savings, don't get it twisted. But I don't want to be working on my savings, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to build an empire here. You know what I'm saying? And obviously I have money coming from YouTube, I have money coming from counseling, I have money coming from other places too. I do other things. But obviously, you have to deep it that obviously your position has slightly changed. And she doesn't treat me any differently, you know what I'm saying? She just tries to, like, we work it out, you know what I'm saying?
I do well for myself, but I think it just comes with what I do.
Mm-hmm. But I can only imagine, being in his position where and obviously we don't know what conversation was had. If someone says to you, because I've been watching some of the shows, I've been watching some of the programs, some of the conversations around this topic, and obviously Americans are slightly different. So people expect the man to pay all their bills or pay a majority of their bills. In fact, if you expect, this is different from wanting, if you expect a man to pay all your bills, please comment down below and let us know why. No beef. I want to know why, because I want to know the mindset in a deeper aspect. And we're family here on this channel. And if you don't expect a man to pay all your bills, why don't you expect the man to pay all your bills? You know what I'm saying? Like that, etc., etc. But anyway, so yeah, she earns 2-3 times more. Is that going to be a problem? It will if the mindset is not correct. It will, because naturally, most men will feel some type of way. Why? Because they know that money is power. Or so we've been told. Money is power. And so what happens is the mindset goes into, well, if she earns more money, she has more power. But if you let the person know that my money is your money, and I know a lot of people are not going to like what I'm saying because that it's not for them. And I understand that. Listen, I get it. For the right person, though, you'd never have a problem. But many of us have gone through hurtful relationships, been hurt, you know, etc., etc. Do you know what I'm saying? Now,
Knowing that you're loaded.
Not loaded.
All I ask is that you treat my cat with the same level of expensive and just.
do I have access to my woman's money? No. And do I ask her for money? No. Because I'm still self-sufficient. Regardless of whether I haven't got a job or not, I'm finding a way. You understand? I'm finding a way. You know what I'm saying? So, but here, obviously, they both work. She just earns far more. And now what they're gonna have to do is like, okay, and this is where the eradication of the fear goes away. When the person realizes your money isn't your money, it's our money. And people talk about, oh, I want old school traditional. Do you know what old school traditional is? When you talk to some old school people, listen, people were putting their money together. And that's one aspect. Another aspect, the old school tradition, no woman was working. Some of you ladies want the traditional and you're working. So you want to earn money for yourself and it's not our money, it's my money. And I think to myself, is that really a sensible mindset to have? If you want you see, you're having your cake and eating it. You want old school. Old school, stop working, stay at home. Yeah, I know a lot of ladies would. This is not to everybody. A lot of women would. A lot of women were saying, listen, I can't stay at home, I need to work. Yeah? Well, if you're working, you're contributing, my friend. You understand? Like, you're not going to work to get your own money and then chop his money as well. Like, that's not teamwork. You see, then the focus becomes about, I want a man that provides, but it's not your man. Because you're not a team then. You've just got a provider. Call it what it is, you've got a sugar daddy. Some of you just got sugar daddies in relationships. You ain't got a man, you got a sugar daddy. It's not to everybody, it's only to a few people. Teamwork. What is the teamwork ethos and goal? What is a vision for your team? Again, I'm not saying he has access to your bank accounts. What I'm saying to you is the mindset though. What's the mindset here? You feel me? Now, am I always going to be in a position of having less money? More than likely not. Because listen, I've got things coming in and I know where I'm going. You understand? I have a vision and I have a dream. I'm going to execute. You understand? But right now, it's a good testing ground to see what is a person like when I don't have that kind of finances at hand right now. I've come from a comfortable position to suddenly on COVID, it's done me dirty, while gone. How's the person going to react? How are they going to behave? And so having somebody like obviously Olivia and Brett where the income is quite different, I saw the fear in him because the moment she said, I like the finer things in life, I like to go places, I like to eat out,
Fun things, and I like expensive vacations and nice wines.
I enjoy cheap wines.
The first thing that came to his mind was, how am I going to pay for all of this? I know, because I know the feeling, right? I know the feeling. I know the feeling, and it makes you feel out of control because you're like, I don't have the money to stretch to do this. Or I don't have enough money to potentially do the kind of lifestyle that you live. And so there's a fear that instantly grips the person. And it's something that, do you know what? So, and I'll let you into a little thing. Me and my missus were having a conversation. So this obviously, because obviously she was like, you know what, like, only thing she requires really from me is that, look, when we go on dates, can I pay? And I was like, at first when she said that, I was like, blood, what do you mean? Like, yo, did you not eat you guys really know I'm Dutch. You already knew I was Dutch from early. Listen, I don't want to hear nothing else from you guys. You know I've been saying Dutch from time. That's what got me into trouble with you guys in the first place. I've been saying Dutch all the time. But then when she said to me, listen, I just want you to pay for like I don't mind us working together, but can you pay for dates? At first I was like, nah. I was like, in my head, I didn't say anything. In my head I was like, alarm bells are ringing. I'm like, because I'm instantly starting to calculate, how can this fit into my budget? How am I going to pay for this? My mind goes into, okay, because I love a budget, right? I love a budget. I love to finance. I love to, you know what I'm saying? That's how I get a lot of savings. I like to think about every move I'm making, and I know what's disposable income, what I can play with. So when she said it to me, I started sweating. I'm like, blood. Ting tum 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 ting tum 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 tum. Is it gonna work? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, she's gonna mess up my savings flow. Da, da, da. I have to concede in some area. Da, da, da. And I started fretting, right? And then she could tell I was fretting, and she was like, okay. Then she asked me a key question. This is why I said to you, if you're communicating and you've got somebody who knows how to communicate, you will win in this life. You will win in this life. Listen to what I'm gonna say to you now.
Cheap wines, some of them are quite good.
I go out to eat a lot, you know, because it's just me. That's a big chunk of.
We're gonna be cooking.
Obviously, that, you know, the reason why I was feeling threatened is because obviously, you know, it takes me out of my comfort zone. You know, like I have normally a savings pattern that I work with, and that will eat into certain savings. And because and because my mind is thinking ahead, I'm thinking I need to save up for the wedding in future. I need to save up for a ring. I need to save up for a house. Like all of this. So you're kind of slow by me paying all these dates. You're kind of slowing my progress to get to there for you and I. Da, da, da. And she was like, slow down. Why are you thinking that far ahead? I was like, because I have to. I'm a man. I have to. She's like, slow down. We're a team. Why have you not considered me? Like, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to do something. And I was like, yeah, but as a man, you have to do these kind of things, blah, blah, blah. She was like, listen, slow down. I'm only asking you to pay for dates. And I was like, okay. Then because she asked the why question, I replied and asked her, so why do you want me to pay for all the dates? And she said, this is how it makes me feel. I feel like this. I feel like this when you do it. Then I said, you know what? Because you told me why you like it, I will do it. You told me why you like it, I'll do it. Yeah? Because the difference here is that the difference switch from expectation to this is why I want it to happen. Many people explain their expectations but don't tell you why they expect it.
I got a husband to go do things with me and see the world, and I don't know if he wants to do those things.
Expect it. Like, you want me to pay all your bills. Why? Why? Oh, I expect it because you have to. But why? I'm a person who's why in it. Like, I always like to think deeper. This is why we had this whole argument about first dates. I'm a person that asks, but why am I paying on the first date? If you work, I work. Why are you paying on the first date? You know what I'm saying? I like to have an intelligent conversation. So you're going to explain to me why you feel I should pay. Right? Yeah? And I like to challenge people. So when she said that to me, I just relaxed. I said, no, sorry. Okay, you're right. If that's what it makes you feel like, of course I'll pay. Because you've explained it to me. Do you understand? You've explained it to me and you told me. Now, we've had a conversation. Now, when Brett is talking to Olivia, okay, he's not having the conversation. He's keeping his thoughts inside because he's scared to let it out. Why? Because the moment he lets out his thoughts, he'll be judged, or he feels he'll be judged as a weak male. You know what I mean? Like, when you're not confident in what's gonna come back, you don't say what you feel because you're scared that there may be a judgment gonna come in, right? And so, you might hear broke-ass man ain't good for nothing.
All I ask is that you treat my cat with the same level of expensive indiscretion as your own. He's used to a certain lifestyle, you have to understand.
Well, he's gonna get a little upgrade.
I don't think you understand how much of my income is devoted to him already.
Can't pay no bills, da da da. And when you hear that, nobody wants to come out and say anything when you hear that. You don't want that. You understand? So he's keeping those thoughts in his mind, but we know straight away that he was thinking about it. He was feeling it. Why would I say that? Because his first kind of replies to it was, I like to drink cheap wine. And she was like, I like to drink expensive wine. No, you don't like to drink cheap wine. What you're trying to put into her head is that, listen, I'm not about to expand my waistband, okay, and go into a level which I don't operate on. When he could have just said, listen, you know what? I won't lie to you. I am a little bit threatened by that. And I'm threatened because I feel like I don't know if I have enough money to do the certain lifestyle that you're doing. I mean, how would we make it work, right? Now that is, you see, I always say to people, listen, intelligence isn't just being able to be academic. Intelligence here is being able to articulate how you're feeling, thinking, and what your thought processes are. And actually, a lot of people are more, we tend to disagree when we don't understand. We tend to disagree and argue when we don't understand. She's not going to understand because your first instance of your answer to her was, I'm not threatened. But then you say, listen, I like cheap wine. I like cheap holidays. No, let's be honest. Look, me even saying, let me tell you the truth. I don't like cheap holidays. I don't necessarily like cheap holidays. I can only afford cheap holidays. Do you understand? Like, so I might tell the missus, listen, if we're gonna do a holiday that's banging, let's save up. Like, you wanna go to, let's say you wanna go to America. All right, babe, how much will it cost us to do it? 1,500. Okay, I don't have 1,500 right now, but let's save up so next year we can go. You see, the whole point is, I believe when you're working with a reasonable woman or male, and the person is able to communicate and is able to reason and able to be logical and able to be understanding, when you explain something to them, they're able to understand it and work with you. Now, when you don't explain it and you act all hard and tough and prideful, the person has to react on what you're giving them. So had he told her, listen, you make 3 times more than me, wow, that is a little bit scary. And it's scary because I know that you may operate on a different lifestyle and you may want different things to me.
I'm just used to doing without.
I got a husband.
Obviously, I'm not. I don't know. I don't know what kind of taste that you have, etc., etc. But let's discuss that. And you know, I'm learning a lot of this stuff from my missus. Like I do what a lot of men do. It's what Brett is doing, which is that we internalize and we will not vocalize. We internalize and won't vocalize. Look, my missus makes more than I do. I don't care about that, bro. I'm looking to pass her. I ain't gonna lie to you, cuz I ain't looking to stay here. I'm looking to earn more than she is. But that ain't even the question. We're talking about now, obviously, does that affect me? No, because the way that I look at it is that, listen, I got my own money, I got to do my own things. But we're a team. So if we're gonna do something, we budget it. And listen, when it comes to budget, I'm amazing with budgets. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to get someone, we're like, listen, okay, look, babe, look, you want to go and do this thing. Now, it's not in my range of finance I can do right now, but I tell you what, let's save up. Let's do this. Let's work towards it. See, what that allows you to do is that we're now operating as a team. Now, she may already have the money, right? So she may already say to you, listen, babe, don't worry, I've got the money. Then I can go, okay, do you know what? And then this is why I said to people, listen, if you're not ready to be a team, forget it. If you're not ready to be a team, forget it. Some of you people out here, men and women, want a sugar daddy and your sugar mama. You understand? You want your mom to do everything and you want your dad to do everything. Instead of thinking about your relationship as a team. This is why a lot of relationships don't work, because you're not a team. You are I came together and I expect you and I expect you. And there's no conversation in between. So here with Olivia and Brett, what could be done is say, listen, let's say she likes her holidays and they're expensive. Okay, she likes to go on holidays 3 times a year.
I spend a lot. I enjoy nice things.
I'd rather invest in building something long.
He can say, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. At the moment, current where I am, I can afford a holiday a year at a go, or once a year at a go. I know it's not good for you per se, yeah? So what we can do is obviously, look, the other 2 holidays, can we do a low-key holiday, yeah? Where it's a bit more affordable. And let's work financially to get there. Now, she might say to you, listen, babe, don't worry about it, I'll pay for it. Then he can say, listen, I understand, but can I contribute? Because I don't want you to think that you're doing this alone. We are a team. Now, some of you women are going to hear that and go, no, he should be a provider. He's a broke-ass nigga. That is fine. Continue saying what you're saying. Get your man. That's fine. If you like where you want to be, go where you want to be. For the rest of us who are normal and we can't afford to have sugar mama and sugar daddy, let us work together and have that understanding, because what can happen is she earns 3 times more and become resentful because she's doing everything. Why is she doing everything? Because she hasn't communicated. Neither has he communicated that, listen, I can't do this or I can do this, and this is how we can go forward. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm all in the business of maintaining, not just attaining. Some of you can attain and it's great, but can you maintain? All right. I think we spent enough time on that. Guys, if you disagree with what I just said, comment down below. Let us know your thoughts as well. You know, they discussed obviously as well about navigating the sex aspect of their relationship. And she stated about the fact that, you know, because of her work and the heavy load of her work, you know, she has to sacrifice time, which is that she may come home some days and she may be super tired. Now, she stated it. She's made it aware. Now, what needs to happen is a plan. Why do I say that? You may need to be more rigid in the plan than normal people. So because of in order to make sure that both of you don't suffer, if you know that she's going to be tired, rather than saying, listen, it's going to be okay, I'm okay with it, when you're not okay with it. And listen, I do the exact same thing. My missus always pulls me up. rather than saying, okay, I'm great with it, I'm okay with the fact that, you're going to be tired or whatever, let's be honest. Okay, you know what, I don't know how that's going to work. I'm not really sure about that. Like, I like to be spontaneous with my sex, but I understand that we have to work as a team here. Again.
World. Like, I'm busy, and there's days I come home and I'm just really tired, and the first thing that's on my mind is taking my shoes off, taking a shower, and going to bed.
Team here. So what I propose we do is, listen, we might have to build up a schedule. Like, what days you work, okay? Let's kick it that. Listen, and you may have to, because you're trying to work as a team. It may not be the best option. And when I say best option, it may not be the option that you actually want. But in order to get where you need to get to, in order to keep the team functioning for now at least, because it might change. Like she said, she can change her job. It might change. What you may need to do is organize again. And this is why I said to you that I'm learning as well as a male that my masculinity is not in my finances. My masculinity is in my conduct, it's in my word, it's in my organization, it's in my ability to bring up ideas. So when I'm doing this, and ability to solve problems. You see, the woman can earn more money than you, but if you can solve problems, you're worth a dime, you're worth $1 million, my friend. Why? Because money can solve a certain type of problem. But when problems arise and you have the ability or the knack to solve them, or at least get an answer to put you in the right direction of it, you become invaluable. Why? Because it's a type of power. I think there's like 7 types of power. And one of these is to be an informational hub. You understand? So when it comes to finances, I may not know the actual answer, but I can say, babe, listen, I know where we should go. Let's go here. I've led the situation. I don't know where you're going to go, but I know it. Let's go here. Yeah? And that you can lead in those areas. Okay, I don't know this answer. Let's go here. Okay, I don't know this answer, babe. Let's look at research it here. Babe, I don't know this answer. Let me look here. You know what I'm saying? And so you can act, and let me say this, I'm not always the best at this, but I'm learning to. And I'm starting to understand that leadership isn't just your finances. You understand? So Brett, you can still lead by being ingenious, being a problem solver. You know what I'm saying? By taking lead on issues that are happening within your household and your parents. So things like sex now, you may need to set up a little schedule and say, listen, babe, what days that you feel like you got the most energy on? Let's make sure that we have sex on those days.
I do find you really cute. Like, heartwarmingly, adorably endearing, like all the time. It's wonderful.
So are you like a sex every day kind of guy?
I know it doesn't sound great, but the point is you're trying to solve a problem. And if she says, no, I'm not really on that, then you can say, listen, do you have any other ideas we can work with? And then she can go, well, I don't really have any ideas. And I said, okay, fine. If you don't have any work ideas, let's try mine. Let's see how it goes. If it doesn't work, we change it. So what you're showing her is that, listen, okay, cool. I'm trying to captain the ship. You may earn money, but listen, when it comes to problems, I'm solving them. You understand?
It's a lot. Like, I will take and take and take and take and take. And then I'm kind of someone that, like, once I've had enough, I've had enough.
You know, Olivia said obviously she takes a lot before she breaks down and stuff like that. And I think that's interesting because I really believe that, that I'm scared because of the way she is, that she could potentially suck up all the bad things that happen and then explode. We call it, that she can be a dumping ground and then suddenly explode outwardly, right? And what we don't want that. We don't want that emotional explosion. We want you to be able to communicate that you're not feeling this particular aspect on this not aspect, and just say it as it is. And that's important because I think in order for the relationship to flourish and keep on growing, one has to be open to the fact that it can't be a dumping ground. If you are, you will eventually explode. And when you do explode, it could take the relationship somewhere you don't want it to go to. And then obviously she mentioned about her very expansive, scary schedule. So let me be real with you. Again, honesty is the best policy. Transparency is also another good policy. But let's start with honesty. You hear your missus say she's it, and I ain't gonna lie to you, when I heard that, I was like, babe, no wonder you're tired. No wonder you're tired. Because you're doing your work 60 hours or whatever a week, and then you're here chickity-chackling everywhere. But we know that she was doing that because obviously she said herself she was single, but she likes to talk to certain people every day, whatever, right? Now, this is what I'm saying to you, like, and I know, when you're triggered, I want you to listen to this. When you're triggered, you're not listening. When you're triggered, you're hearing what you want to hear. What do I mean by that? When she starts saying, I talk to this person every day, what does that entail? What does that look like? How often do you speak? That's the question that has to come up, because you don't know. When she says every day, it may be a text. It may be a quick Zoom 5 minutes. Maybe a quick little call here and there, right? And that could be her every day. Even her every day might not be every day. It might be every other day, but she says every day because it's pretty much merged in, right? So it's important that when it's important that you have to ask these questions to decipher where that person stands. You have to ask these questions to know where that person is, so that you can get a full picture, right? But he went into, you're not gonna have no time for us, right? His fear was talking, and I understand. Again, I get it. His fear was immediately talking. He was saying, "No, you don't have time for us. You don't have time for me. I mean, where am I gonna fit in?" And the reason why he did that, again, he hadn't asked the key questions. How often? How long do you talk? Sorry, he said, often. How long do you talk for? Okay, cool. Like, is it important to you to have that conversation? Okay, fine. I hear what you're saying. Okay. And then that would have made his question where, okay, cool. So, okay, it sounds like you do a lot of things during the course of the day.
I'm gonna fit into that.
Well, you'll be right there too.
So we're talking to them together?
Yeah, sometimes.
And they do this, listen, they do this to you at the interview process everywhere you go. Listen, you when you put on your CV, I do gym, I do football, I do church, I run a ministry, I do youth days, I have a YouTube that I'm doing. You get to the interview and they ask you, so how are you going to balance your extracurricular activities? Because it looks like you're doing quite a lot, and balance your work life. They will ask you that question, right? And the reason why they're asking you is to see how you balance the thing. That's what you have to ask. And they're not asking you to crush you. They're asking you to see what's your answer. And the same thing that Brett should have done. But the way he asked it is as if he was fearful that there's no space for him. Rather than saying, okay, so cool, fantastic, okay, you do a lot of things. Okay, how best do I fit in, or how best do we work ourselves in so we've got time for ourselves as well? Like, how would that look? When you ask it in a certain tone, it's like you're fearful, rather than asking in a tone of like, okay, great, I appreciate it, I like that. Okay, how do I fit into this? How can I also steal some of your time, right? How can I get some more of that time of yours? Right? If you said it in that way, you've changed the whole narrative of the story. But he went with, I don't think I'm gonna have time. You don't have time for me, etc., etc.
Well, you'll be right there too.
So we're talking to them together?
Yeah, sometimes.
And it just showed again the insecurity, because again, I remember I'm telling you, we've all got insecurities, but also as well because of the whole cheating thing previously. Again, he's testing. He's trying to see, okay, you're not gonna have time for me. This could lead to cheating. You're not gonna have time for me. This could lead to you talking to somebody else. Oh, you talk to bare different people. That could lead to somebody else. The mind is already starting to think, where could you go? Because I've dealt with issues like this before. Gotta make sure that you don't hurt me again. The mind is thinking fast ahead. When they are at the group setting and they ask me about the number, and he says I won't trivialize or dehumanize, my relationship. He's chatting rubbish. The number's not the thing here. The thing here is that he's scared to give an answer. Like I said, I really believe. Because it's a judgment. He doesn't want to be judged at the moment. When she said, obviously, the relationship's a 7, you saw the way he turned around. He was hurt. And that caused the silent, I didn't even say silent treatment, the lack of giving answers or being sensible later on.
Anything that's bothering you, just tell me. Or if you think I might have said something the wrong way, then let's talk about it.
So you hear him say, when she asked him later on in the bedroom, she asked him obviously what we're gonna plan to do when we get back, and he's like, oh, we'll just move in and da. And he knew exactly what she was saying, but instead of answering her question directly, he didn't want to do that. Why didn't he want to do that? Because he was still hurting. He was still processing what had happened earlier on, but he was unable to communicate that. He's scared to communicate that. And therefore, he waited to the early hours of the morning on the breakfast table, then brought it up. But actually, truth of the matter was, when he was lying down there, he was hurt. But he just didn't know how. He didn't have the strength to bring it up. He didn't have the courage to bring it up. Okay? And this is what I'm saying to you about communication requires a level of honesty. It requires you to be forthright. Okay, but she already asked him a question and asked him, is he okay? And so she was asking him to be transparent at that point. Okay, now that transparency, okay, is when I've asked you. Okay, that's good, but it's not as good as honesty. Now when she's asked him, are you okay? Are you right? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. Men do this again to protect themselves because they're not ready, and they don't know how to articulate. In fact, not they don't know how to articulate, they don't want to come off as weak, so they don't communicate it. Listen, A lot of people are in relationships like this where their man can't communicate with them. Yeah, when they're pissed, they don't talk. When they're pissed, they go and cheat. Rather than communicate. Yeah? You can get one of the two. or one of the three, different. Well, it depends how people react. But that was very interesting because he then began to communicate the next morning.
So when I heard that 7, it was like, you put yourself into something like 100%, and that's like a D, so it doesn't feel good. Which is,
You see he's in a better mood. He's obviously slept on it, thought about it, realized he's been a bit of a douche. Come back in the morning. Okay, let me explain. Last night, yes, I was a little bit annoyed because of what was said, right? But in the moment, at that point in time, he was still fuming, still hurting, still pissed, right? And so there was he felt embarrassed there, right? But it's funny because she obviously said that he's a little bit sensitive, and then she's out here crying already. Babe, you see, this is why you don't have to throw stones in a glass house, yeah? You're saying someone is sensitive, you're not crying. You understand? So everybody's sensitive, you know what I mean? What it requires though is better communication. So guys, make sure you communicate, man. Ask the why question. If you don't know why that person is doing what they're doing, ask again. Ask again. You know, ask in a different way, without the accusation. Try and find out why did that happen? Why is it that you're feeling that way? The why question is so important because it begins to bring out the person to able to explain how they're feeling and what they've processed as information in their mind. So guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe. We appreciate you. Stay locked, stay loaded. More love.